Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. We've got John here tonight. It's Monday special, Tuesday special. It's quite late going into Tuesday, but it's a special because we want to talk about these incidents at Ibrox that happened on Sunday. Let's say hello to John first. How are you, John?
All right, Xander, how are you?
I'm okay, John. I'm okay. I thought we should do a wee special tonight on these incidents that happened at Ibrox yesterday. And before we go any further, I just want to state everything we say in this podcast, it's not all Rangers fans we're talking about. It's a minimum of Rangers fans. It's a handful of Rangers fans, if you like, but it's still Rangers fans that's causing all this trouble. So let's get into it, John. This bottle throwing incident against Matt O'Reilly and the objects thrown at the dugout at Ibrox yesterday. You know, it was disgusting scenes yesterday, John. Have you seen these scenes after the game?
I certainly have. The players were no better on the park, by the way. Can't be all that picking on McGregor, trying to pick fights, But on the bottle throwing incident, look, we've seen it with Joe Hart as well. We've seen it many times with fans and all that at that ground. But we're talking about Celtic here. Matt O'Reilly, he just scores a penalty because he's about to celebrate and gets a bottle chucked at him. A Buckfast bottle, by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. What are these people all about? Man, like you says, we're not blaming all Rangers fans here for this. This is obviously crackpots in the crowd. And as somebody says on another post about it when you put the video on Facebook earlier, the fingerprints will wear that bottle. Get them checked.
That's it. Yep, get them banned for stadiums for life, exactly, and things like that. We're going to go into what we can do about it, John, in a wee minute, but I just noticed tonight that the Mirror, the newspaper, the Mirror, claims that Police Scotland are investigating hate crimes at Ibrox yesterday, John. These are no hate crimes at Ibrox. This isn't the new law. This has been happening for years. This is violence against supporters and Celtic players, John. This is violence. This is no a new law hate crime. This has been happening for a long time.
You throw a bottle at somebody in the street and it hits them, you're in a jail.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like you say, it's just violence. It's unruly behaviour.
Mm-hmm.
Call it what you want, call it bad education or whatever. I'm not saying that about all Rangers fans, by the way. I'm just saying about the ones that throw the missiles.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that a professional football player, no there to antagonise anybody, no there to do them any harm, gets a glass bottle chucked at him.
And he was lucky.
Disgusting. If that person's found, jailed for that, Xander, that's a jail term for that.
Yeah, that's an individual punishment, John. We'll get to the club punishment in a minute. But the Mirror claims that the hate crime law is the police are investigating their songs they were singing. You know, who cares about the songs they're singing? Let's investigate the objects that are getting thrown at Celtic managers, assistant managers, Celtic players, Celtic supporters when they were allowed into the stadium. Investigate that. Not interested in the songs they're singing, hello, hello, follow, follow, whatever, because of the words that are in it. You know, okay, let them investigate it, fair enough, but also investigate the violence that's happening inside Ibrox, John. No outside, inside Ibrox.
Look, the fans have been getting away with it for decades. You know, I don't know how many decades they've been getting away with it. Nothing's ever been done about it. But it's got to stop. It's got to stop. I mean, that's just disgusting. That seeing bottles getting thrown at players like that. That's it leaves a sour taste in the mouth, doesn't it? It's no right, and it's got to be investigated properly. This.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And you know, the SFA, they'll just sit in their hands, won't they? The usual. They'll just sit in their hands. Nothing's going to get done about it. You can just see the outcome of this just now, John, before anything's even done about it.
Aye, and this comes after announcing that there's a 5% share of the away allocation for away fans at derby games. I don't want them in Celtic Park, Xander. I don't want them anywhere near it, and I don't want Celtic fans in that stadium.
Yeah, because the safety isn't guaranteed, is it?
It's definitely no guaranteed, no. Well, I feel bad saying that because there's obviously a lot of decent Rangers fans out there that go to watch their team, support them, and go home after the game and go back to their families or whatever. But it's the it's the crackpots in the crowd I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's no safe for fans to go to that ground, especially stuck in that wee corner there. And I keep going back to it. I've seen it happen to Celtic fans. Bottles of peanut getting through at them. Glass bottles getting thrown into Wayne's at Motherwell fans and all that. Watch the videos on YouTube. There's loads of them. It's no safe for away fans to go into that ground. End of discussion. It's no safe for them. But we're not even talking about the fans here. We're talking about professional football players getting attacked.
That's it, John. And Celtic have obviously raised a statement, a statement raising concerns about the safety of everybody involved with Celtic. They're concerned about the safety of the fans when they were allowed, the players, the managers, the assistant managers, the coaching staff, anybody that's linked to Celtic in that stadium. Celtic have raised serious concerns about their safety, John.
Aye, well, quite right. It's just animalistic behaviour by the individual that threw that, and any individuals that throw weapons at players at football games.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about Rangers fans, but I'm not just generalising that. It's anybody that throws anything at football players at any stadium should be thrown in the jail. If they're caught doing it, they should be. What's the answer for it? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to put a big fence around the away dugouts, a big cage. So none of the items, land on managers, staff, players. What you're supposed to do for the fans, build a big cage in the away section so nothing can land on them.
Yeah,
What's the answer?
Yeah, that's. I've got a couple of ideas, right? But these incidents are not isolated. With Jota, John, last season hit with the lighter. Celtic players celebrating hit with objects last season as well. The glass with Joe Hart, as you've already mentioned, that was a very serious one. The glass in the goal mouth. You've had PSV players being hit with objects as well. Various other club players been hit with objects as well, John. It's not isolated. This has been going on for a long time. So let's get into what the answer could be, John. Right, one is giant nets around the full stadium. These nets they have at Borussia Dortmund. That would stop the objects coming out of the park at least.
Aye, it would stop the objects coming onto the park. But you've also got to think of a way to keep the fans safe as well. But first of all, we'll talk about player safety, and that is one of the answers. Obviously, is to put the giant nets behind the goals. But I don't know, because when you go to Ibrox, these objects come on for every stand. I mean, if that ball contacts with Mattarelli's head, for instance, and splits his head open, it depends how high it's came down. It could have come down for the upper tier.
Yeah.
And for that distance, it's going to do serious damage to him.
Yeah, it's going to kill him. Yeah. These giant nets, they don't need to be totally around the stadium, John. The gaps, obviously, for safety reasons as well. But, the priority should be the safety of the players on the park, John. Giant nets around the stadium is an idea. Borussia Dortmund can do it. I'm sure Rangers can do it.
Aye, well, that's an idea, but obviously you take fan safety into consideration with nets, and if anything happens, they do ever forget things like Hillsborough and all that, Bradford. So I guess that's one of the reasons why they don't do that in this country. But there should be maybe at the bottom of the staircases gaps, like you says, put nets up, and at the end of the staircases keep them free. So there's access for fans to escape if there's any danger or anything like that. But something's got to be done. It's got to be done, because it's every single time Celtic go there, something happens to players on the pitch, and you see it at corner kicks and all that, missiles.
Yeah. As far back as Petrov getting hit after scoring a goal. I remember way back. Even then, Petrov been hit with missiles when he scored the goal. So, okay. Let's have a wee look at idea number 2 then, John. Closing the stands at Ibrox. What do you think of
that? It's trying for the decent fans that go into it, though. I mean, let's be honest. The majority of Rangers fans that go there just go there to watch their team. They don't go there to throw stuff at players. It's absolute clowns that get tanked up with drink before the game. Brainless people, no brains.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ones that's throwing the objects. And if you're listening, you that threw the object, you're an absolute brainless moron.
Yeah.
And you should be severely punished into the bargain. But it's no fair keeping the good fans out the ground. They go to watch their team and support their team and all that. But it's coming to that, Xander. If something's going to happen to a player one day, something really bad.
Yeah, there's also got to be a deterrent, John. I know you're saying about the decent fans, and there is lots of decent Rangers fans, but there's got to be a deterrent there. Close a stand, it might not happen again.
Aye, close a stand to start with, maybe for a few home games in a row or something like that. Just keep the 3 stands open, see if it acts as a deterrent.
Yeah.
I doubt that very much, because as soon as it's opened again, it'll happen again. It's not a safe place to go for professional football players. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, okay. And you know what's going to happen, John? The outcome of this will be a slap in the wrist, a £2,000 fine for the SFA, and they move on to the next game, to the next time we go to Ibrox. So that's what's probably going to happen. Should UEFA step in?
Somebody should step in, because right now there isn't any deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. What can you do? Close the stadium for a few games? Close the whole stadium for a few games might act as a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's no fair on the decent supporters. That's what I'm saying. And you're never going to keep idiots away from throwing things, Xander. At the end of the day, an idiot's an idiot, and you can't educate them. That's the way they are. Once an idiot, always an idiot. You can't educate them. And they're going to come back into the ground. I'm sure there's more than a handful of idiots that go to every stadium. And you just can't educate these people. I don't know if it's born into them to be like that.
Yeah. It's you're going to take it bear in mind as well, John. These, the excuses when they went to Manchester and everything else, and the riots, all the usual carry on we've all heard about. The excuse was, it's not today with Rangers, it happened outside the stadium. Well, this is happening inside the stadium. So what can Rangers do about it, do you think? What do you think they could do about it?
They'll probably just address the issue, talk about it and say, like for Brian, don't do it again, They're very, very soft on their approach towards their fans. Very, very soft.
Yeah.
So they've got to step up to the mark and do something here. They've really got to act on this, because there's the Celtic dugout getting attacked again yesterday, and then obviously I'm sure there's loads of missiles being thrown at Celtic fans, Celtic players yesterday.
Yeah.
And of course the glass bottle as the straw that broke the camel's back thrown at Mattarelli. That could have came from anywhere. If that's came from the upper deck, that's killing you.
Yeah. And Martin Kennedy, John, was actually struck by an object. It didn't miss him. He was hit. He was actually hit with an object. I've not actually described what object it was, but he was actually hit, John. So there's safety concern right away. Mattarelli was lucky. He was lucky. The bottle didn't strike him. So he was lucky. But a glass bottle, John, throwing a glass bottle at a professional football player. Morons, absolute morons, honestly. That boat was brought in there and kept to use as a missile.
I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it isn't. I don't know. I don't know the absolute half-wit that done it. But is the answer to search every single fan going into a stadium, women as well, search their handbags, search everything. You've got any signs of glass bottles or anything like that, you get turned away for the stadium. You don't just get it too coffee. You get turned away for the stadium and banned for the stadium for trying to bring glass objects into a football stadium. Just ban them for life. Is that the answer?
Yeah, well, Celtic already do that, don't they? They check everybody that goes in through the gates. Women get their handbags checked, etc., etc. So Celtic already do that. I think Rangers need to start doing the same. I think you're right, John.
Right now, it's looking like possibly the only answer is to search everybody thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, they may have to do something like that, John, because that's your options. Putting a net around the stadium which is a possibility. Close a couple of stands now and again, hit them with a fine, or start the searches from outside the stadium. Yeah, that's. If anybody's got any other ideas what they could do there to make the Celtic players safer, make the fans safer if they're going to be allowed back in next season, give us some ideas. Give us some ideas what you think we could do to make the Celtic players and staff safer, John. That's all we're looking for.
Aye, well, we're looking for all way teams going to that grunt to be kept safe, Sander. We've seen it with other teams, but especially Celtic. It's bad with Celtic, it's really bad. So first and foremost, we'll look to keep the Celtic players safe and the Celtic fans safe if they get back into that stadium. But I feel bad for the honest Rangers fans. It's not your fault. Any honest Rangers fans that's listening, it's not your fault. We're not blaming yous. We're blaming the morons that go to your stadium and take glass bottles in to throw at Celtic players.
Yeah.
And like Xander says, the only option is to keep your stadium shut for a month or so and ban all fans for the stadium. And the other option is to put a net around the stadium, around the stands, the front of the stand, just at the pitch.
Yeah.
Put a big net there so objects don't make it to the pitch.
Yeah. Put the nets behind the goals in the corner, and maybe that'll maybe eliminate some of the missiles getting thrown into the park.
Aye, possibly, but I think it's going to be harsh. I think it's going to be really harsh here. We've got to look after the players and the away fans there.
Also the safety of the Rangers players, John. One of these missiles could, divert and hit a Rangers player. The Rangers players have got their safety's got to be brought into it as well.
Well, the idiot that threw the glass onto the park for Joe Hart, that could have been a Rangers player that's maybe slid on that,
Yeah, exactly.
Also, the thing is, I'm going to ask you before we go, Xander, do you think they'll be fined for this? Something's going to happen? I think another thing that could come into play is deducting points off them.
Yeah, well, that would happen in any other country, John, but it won't happen here. So, you look at. I don't want to sound paranoid, but the SFA and Rangers, they're not going to deduct them points, John. That's not going to happen. But you're right, it happens in other countries, John. It happens, it's teams down in England are getting deducted points right, left, and centre just now for various different things, but it will never happen up here. So I know what you're saying.
No, it's not going to happen. 1984, Rapid Vienna against Celtic at Celtic Park. Celtic had to win 3-0. I was there as a young boy, and some idiot threw something on the park, and it never even hit the player. And the game had to be replayed down at Old Trafford.
Mm-hmm.
And Celtic get beat 1-0. And that was thanks to an idiot throwing something on the park. That had to be replayed. Celtic won the game. That was aim through. They had to win 3-0. They did. Some idiot threw something on the park, and the game had to be replayed, and Celtic get beat 1-0 down at Old Trafford, which I was also at. And so that level of punishment should be coming into play.
Yeah.
I don't see why Rangers should be the exception to that rule.
Yeah, well said, John. I totally agree. And as we said at the very start of this wee video, John, it's no all Rangers fans. We obviously know that. It's a handful of morons. You need to get them eliminated from your stadium because our club players and fans and coaching staff safety is all at risk, John. So we're looking for some action here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's obviously season ticket holders that's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can't question every single fan in one of these stands behind the goals. But do they hold 8,000 fans each one behind the goals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got to look at the CCTV, and they've got to monitor exactly the area where that bottle came from.
Yeah, but we've done all that in the past, John. Something different's got to be done now. We've went through what we think should be done to eliminate this. This has got to be eliminated, John. These crimes have got to be eliminated. Bottles getting thrown out in the park, lighters hitting players when they're celebrating. It's just got to stop, John. And if it means empty stadiums, then that's what it's got to be.
Aye, I mean, that is what it's got to be. And I can't remember ever seeing bottles getting thrown onto Celtic Park and hitting players and all that stuff. I don't remember ever seeing that at Celtic Park.
No, No, but you know what? You know what happened? They'll try and tar us with the same brush, wouldn't they?
Well, apart from 1984, of course.
Yeah,
but
well, that's...
I remember that, but the object didn't hit anybody. It was like a plastic bottle or something like that. But I've never seen glass bottles getting thrown at opposition players at Celtic Park. I've seen plenty of things with Celtic players and staff getting attacked, Neil Lennon getting punched at Tynecastle and all that stuff. But our concern right now is the Celtic players and the Celtic fans' safety, having to go to Ibrox. And like you says, we're not blaming all the Rangers fans, any Rangers fans listening. We know you're not all like that. But if you know the person that threw the bottle, just call him an absolute clown for me. An absolute clown.
Yeah. Okay, John. Yeah. All right, John, we'll wrap up there. Just a wee quick one tonight, because I just thought it was something we had to discuss. We'll be back on Friday for the preview of the St Mirren game, John. So we just hope that John Kennedy is okay. We don't know what kind of object it was that struck him. We just hope he's okay. I'm sure he will be. And Matt O'Reilly, he was obviously the lucky one out of the two. And obviously there was other objects thrown as well. But, we'll park it there, John. We'll catch you on Friday, buddy.
See you Friday, Xander. All the best. Hail, hail, mate.
Hail, hail, buddy. Catch you later.